Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And I want to talk today about manifesting a much better life after narcissistic abuse. So if you know about manifestation, it's a science. It's not an airy-fairy idea. I know that in popular culture, things get a little bit distorted because they get popular and a bit surface level. But manifestation is quantum physics, like it's as real as gravity, right? And it's the idea that we are an energetic match to certain things in the universe. And to be a powerful manifester, our energy field needs to be predominantly in alignment with what we want to create in our lives. Trauma gets in the way of this, right? And when we're manifesting, we want our subconscious mind on board, in fact, because what happens as human beings is we have like an energetic set point, and that means we're kind of on autopilot. And so we might say we want something in our life, but actually our thoughts, beliefs, and our actions are not in alignment with that thing. And that's why we're not getting it, right? So when we change our energetic match, we also change what's available to us in the universe, right? Because when we vibrate in a different state of being, it's like we're on another frequency. If you think about it like radio stations, this radio station can only hear what's on its station, on its frequency. When you go to a different radio station, there's other things available. So it's related to our thoughts, beliefs, and actions, but they get impacted by our predominant energetic, right, field. And our energetic field is the whole. It's affected by what we think, what we feel, and what's dominant in our system that we might not be conscious of, which is why trauma can really get in the way of it, right? So the first thing you've got to do is heal the trauma. That will automatically make you a better match to what you want, right? So if you can come into Sovereign, we go over manifestation and deep trauma healing. And I combine those two together all the time, because when we want to manifest something, what tends to come up is our limiting beliefs around it, right? And fear. So I have a process that you can actually use to regulate your emotions through that. Beyond that, our best life. So I believe that everything in your heart to do, be, and have, to create in your life is for you. Your desires, your heartfelt desires are meant for you, right? And you're a match. I believe you were built a match to them, but as your authentic self. Now, the challenge is in narcissistic abuse cycles, you're not your authentic self, yeah? You're a version of yourself that you've had to become in order to survive the trauma and the abuse. So you could be a people pleaser, but you're certainly if you're actually in these cycles, we're not in our authentic power, being true to who we are and what we want and need, which means that in the universe, we're not an energetic match to this. So what I've learned about manifestation and being a very powerful manifester is it relies a lot on integrity. I teach integrity in Sovereign, and in other things I do. But integrity means that although you might think, well, I'll tell you how it doesn't work. It doesn't work that I live out of alignment with my values, but then sometimes I visualize something that I want and wonder why it doesn't come to me. The reason it doesn't come to you is because it's our embodiment of what we live in integrity that makes us the energetic match. So if my authentic life is a match to me being authentic, as are my authentic dreams. So it's not what we say we want. It's not what we visualize we want. Not just that at all. I mean, I don't really, personally, I embody things rather, and I get clear on things more than I visualize personally. But visualization is a good tool for other people, for many people. It's what you live in alignment with every day. Now, Sovereign changes your way of being. It's an embodiment transformation, which makes you an energetic match to what you want, and people's lives change in it, right? The more they put that work in. But I can't say, I can, but if I say to the universe, and imagine the universe was on the phone, yes, I want beautiful friendships. I want loving, connected, amazing people in my life. I want to have deep, meaningful conversations. I want people where we just celebrate each other and we can't do enough for each other, and it's just really sweet and really kind, and we just cheer each other on in life, and we have the most empowering conversations and dreams, and we do things that are just expansive, and we're just there for each other, and all this stuff, right? So universe says, okay, cool, that's what you want. Then our job to become a great manifestor of that is to be in alignment. So who would you have to be, right? Because the universe is going to it's not because of this, but it's a bit like the universe is going to make you prove it, which means that anywhere you're not a match for those people, if you're living it, you're putting out a frequency in the universe. So the universe is like, oh, they said they wanted authentic, connected, loving, beautiful friends, but there they are with those friends that they sit around with, where they're all just gossiping and backstabbing and talking shit about people. That's what you're living. That's the loudest thing. That's bigger than you saying to the universe what you want, what you live, what you be is your vibrational state. So we have to be in alignment. Now, if we're traumatized, we could be very much trying to live in alignment with our values, but the trauma is taken over because it's unprocessed and unhealed, which is why, again, I recommend Sovereign, because if you need to process the trauma, it's the resistance in the body. It's a huge resistance to us letting things in, right? If you do think you live in alignment. But if you're not getting what you want and you're not manifesting it, you're not an energetic match. In fact, whatever you have in your life right now, you're an energetic match too. Point blank, right? Which can be quite hard to hear, but also quite empowering, because knowing this actually gave me a lot of leverage, because even though my circumstances seemed impossible, I knew that this is an energetic universe, and so all I had to do was shift my energy. Easier said than done at certain points before I developed my body of work and was able to radically clear trauma. But so changing our energetic state when we're very traumatized, I've got stuff that helps with that, because you can't just flip a switch, and you can't lie to the universe. You can't fake your vibration, you see. You can fake things in front of other people. You cannot fake your vibration, right? So there's no point in trying. There's a point in healing, and there's a point in understanding that it's not that things are off limits necessarily to us, because we can only see what's on our radio station. That's what we're a current energetic match to. So all our problems, all our current reality is on that station. But there's other realities that we can literally jump timelines on, or can jump frequencies, and we can become. And it's like night and day, My life has done that several times, night and day, completely different, because I became a different energetic match. So of course, everything around me had to. It doesn't go like we would think in the mind linearly. It's not like I take one step up the ladder, then one step. It doesn't. In fact, a lot of the times, many things will come in at once, because we shift our vibration and we're on a different frequency. So there has to be more love. There has to be more support. There has to be more joy. There has to be more opportunities, right? So understanding energetics, understanding that... I'll tell you something else that I teach very differently. And I was doing this because I just closed out the last Sovereign, right? I'm relaunching the next one in July. But when I teach manifestation, I teach people that this isn't about trying to control everything in your life, right? Which I think people are quite surprised when I start with that, because I think in a lot of popular culture, people are thinking manifestation is the way I get to control everything, and that's not it at all. In fact, I teach people to be an excellent receiver of life and to co-create, to work with the universe, because manifestation is actually a co-creation with the universe and God, whatever you believe in, the divine, right? So it isn't me trying to control everything, and it requires different skills than if you were just trying to control everything, because when you work in manifestation, you work beyond the predictable. You work with what's possible, you work with your own potential, and you have to work with the universe and know how to differently in the energy field, right? So that you can actually access things that were not available to your current realm of consciousness. This is the beauty of it, right? So in Live Fully Now, we'll be talking more about manifestations. I do have private coaching on it, but understand that the beauty of our universe, the magic of our universe is it's so much more flexible than we think. And when we're stuck on a frequency, all we see is those problems. All we see, if you're in a frequency where I'm sick, I'm ill, I'm stuck, I'm da-da-da-da, right? Then that's all you'll see. That's your current reality. But it's not because that's all that's available to you. It's just because in your current realm of consciousness, that's all it is. When you align with the one who isn't stuck, right, the expanded energetic, you heal the things and clear the belief systems and ascend into a more expanded version of you that you actually start living out day by day, which means that you live in alignment with it, as if you know this reality is what you're stepping into. You have to change the thoughts and beliefs in accordance to what you'd be thinking, believing, and experiencing actually emotionally and energetically. If you knew what you want was what you were living, then it comes into your life a lot quicker, right? So we have control of this. Trauma is difficult because we have to regulate that, but it's not so difficult. I mean, I've got tools that clear it with people quickly and they can keep using in order to keep calibrating. So we have to work on the level of the conscious, subconscious, and energetic field, right? And at that point, we get to create our wildest dreams. We get to create beyond what we could control, which is a great thing. So trying to control everything is against manifestation, because actually we want to receive things beyond what we could control. And that's why it happens faster, and that's why it happens better, and that's why it happens more in alignment with what actually makes our heart and soul sing, right? And that's totally available to all of us. It was how we were meant to live, I believe. We were not meant to live in suffering. We were not meant to live in traps. We were not meant to live in narcissistic abuse. That's just like a bad dream, an extremely bad dream. In my life, a very, very long nightmare. But nonetheless, I'm pleased to say it's not the only reason I couldn't get out of that was because of the trauma. I knew how to manifest. I've been a great manifester my whole life. The trauma was the thing I didn't know about. Knowing about that, understanding how you break that, all the manifestation principles apply. Even better, actually, because now I understand things in an even stronger way. You can't control the universe. You weren't meant to, right? So we want to work with the divine. We want to work in co-creation with the divine. But that means we want to listen to ourselves and trust our desires, trust our hearts. God didn't put the intentions in your hearts for a joke, you know. That's how we work in partnership, by trusting what we feel inside, right? When we feel something's not for us, we've got to trust it. When we feel a person's not for us, we've got to trust it. When we feel a dream is for us, we've got to trust it and move and take risks and be daring and build our muscles, build our courage, and build belief systems that support us. So that's what I wanted to share, my loves. Lots of love. I'll speak to you soon.